Welcome to a bump by bump rundown.
P-Funk Wild World of Wiggle.
I'm Danny Bedrosian.
George Dr. Funkenstein Clinton here.
Yeah. And these videos are sponsored by George's Patreon. You go to patreon.com/George Clinton P-Funk, where you can get an unreleased Funkadelic track each and every month on the 1st of every month. On the 15th of every month, you get the newest episode of this show a month before the rest of the world. So when the world is enjoying, say, episode 5 on YouTube, the patrons are already checking out episode 6 way before anybody else gets the chance. What we do is we do a different song every month, a different P-Funk song on this show, and we kind of do a little deep dive into just that song. And this month, we're talking about a real Funkadelic classic, Take Your Dead Ass Home.
Take your dead if you...
While the hornies occupied my day. I never peeped where she was coming from when she'd say, though you hear I'm all alone. And then she made it perfectly clear.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
If you ain't gonna get it, yeah, boy, all these songs. You know, that's part of the Tell Kid Funkadelic album.
Yes.
That's the last album
On Westbound.
on Westbound that
Correct.
we had to give them one more album as we was going to Warner Brothers.
Contractually?
Yeah. I think the first one with them was Hardcore Jollies.
It was. Same year.
Same year. They came out.
76.
We had to give them one and get out of one contract and Hardcore Jollies to get into the new one.
It's cool. And they're really, they're cool companion albums.
Yeah.
Because Tales of Kid Funkadelic, to me, is, even though it's definitely a Funkadelic album, it's got the rock and the guitars, it's very Bernie dominated.
Yeah.
And then Hardcore Jollies is very guitar dominated. Dedicated
Do we
to the
have,
guitar
do
players.
we have any Bootsies in them too?
Yeah, what, on Tales of Kid Funkadelic?
Yeah.
Yes, he is on that
Yeah, because
album.
he would have been around right at that turning point there.
Yeah, he's on, he's on Disco Kid, and he's on...
Oh, yeah. Oh, was he on that?
Let's Take It to the People, and and How Do You View You?
Yeah, how do you...
On drums and bass.
Oh, yeah, how do you view you? That was... Like, Be My Beach, what's that on?
That's on Let's Take It to the Stage.
That was okay.
That's the year before.
I was just getting used to his R&B bass on doo-wop.
Yeah,
I mean, on funk.
Funk, yeah.
You know, like, especially How Do You View You? Be My Beach was, like, really turned me out because I realized he had a Jimi Hendrix tone to his voice.
Yeah.
But I could do it in that silly, serious type of thing, love song.
Silly, serious
but
love
be
song.
really silly about it.
Yeah.
Be My Beach was probably one of the first ones of that.
It's the formula starter for that style.
Yeah.
For that style. We talked about that in another episode too. But Take Your Dead Ass Home, I actually had a Bootsy question about that song. Because I believe it was you who told me that Bootsy and Boog are playing bass on that song. They're both on it.
Probably so, because we did.
They did that like on I Can Move You If You Let Me.
Yeah, we did that. We did that a few times.
And that's one of them ones. And it's funny because I must have had some understanding that was true, because I recently cleaned out my storage spot and found some paperwork, some of my earliest paperwork, talking about P-Funk history and stuff when I was like teenager, like 13 or something.
Okay.
And it said, Take Your Dead Ass Home, Bootsy and Boog both on bass, or something like that. And I didn't know, I don't remember even knowing that back then, but I must have heard it and been able to
they did
tell.
it a few times because Bootsy played so much rhythm and Boog would do the one a lot, and they had compliment, and they both played drums a lot.
They both played drums, yeah.
And especially Boog played a lot on Bootsy's
records,
ballads.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, the formula for the Bootsy ballad is kind of Boog on drums in a way.
Yeah. And then Bone on the things with us, a lot of our stuff.
Ton of drums, Bone played. Yeah. Take Your Dead Ass Home. A little personnel info: George Clinton on lead vocals, backup vocals: Glenn Goins, Joyce Vincent, Telma Hopkins, Cordell Boogie Musson, Gary Scheider, Mudbone Cooper, Bootsy Collins. On drums: Jerome Braley, bass: Bootsy and Boog. Guitar, Gary Scheider and Glenn Goins. Synthesizers and keyboards, Bernie Worrell. And speaking of Bernie, he's playing that ARP Pro soloist on there. That's
Take Your Dead Ass Home.
Yeah, he's doing like he's doing Woody Woodpecker. on Take Your Dead Ass Home.
You know what? I think we actually did this track real early and came back and overdubbed years later.
That makes sense.
Because that's the only way Jerome could have been on there.
Right.
Yeah,
well, that one I remember you telling me that you remembered it was him because of his light touch.
It felt like him.
It's got his pickups.
It might be just like say Chocolate City. Tracks that we have on there was much older than the album itself.
True.
You know, and that feels like that sounds like
an older groove.
Yeah, it sounds like Jerome for real.
Yeah,
and so it would have had to been like I say 2 or 3 years earlier.
Right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, 76 makes sense. It's around the time. So he'd been in the band about a year. You know, Jerome Braley. He'd been in the group about a year at that point.
Yeah, he left in 78.
Yeah, he left in 78. So that makes sense around there.
And that came out of when?
76.
What?
The early 76.
No, I mean this one.
Yeah, early 76.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
is right after Mothership, really. You know, Mothership and Stretching Out.
Okay,
and
then that definitely was Jerome, yeah.
And yeah.
No, that was definitely Jerome. He was in there.
Yeah,
He
was the drummer, official
he was
drummer.
The drummer,
at that time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I got my time. Yeah.
Yep. And then and Take Your Dead Ass Home. Yeah, one of those, like you said, one of those classic grooves. And what are you talking? What's the lyrical content? What's the theme to that? I watched the football game.
The man from Peru.
Well, there's that part, but what about before that? I'm thinking about the intro.
The one.
I watched the football game while the hornies occupied my day.
While the hornies occupied my day.
Explain some of that to the audience.
I'm up there, dudes watching the game and the girl trying to, make love or get affectionate. And she said, if you ain't gonna get it on, take your dead ass home.
Yes.
That was while the hornies occupied my day. Yeah.
It's funny too because it's one of those ones. It's almost a reverse automobile.
Yeah.
Now you at her place, but you watching the football game.
Right.
She's trying to get it together, and you're not.
I'm not giving up the phone.
Yeah, she wants it. And so she's saying, and that's the cool part, that the emphasis is that it's her.
Yeah, she's the one saying that if you ain't gonna get it on, take your dead. Whereas opposed to me in the other one.
In my automobile.
You got to get out and walk.
You out in my car. I want to kiss. If not, you got to walk. Yeah. So it's really similar in a way.
I always did a lot of that reverse.
Yeah. The female version of the male version.
Yeah. How do it sound coming from her side point of view, because it was always the male point of view, mostly everything.
Yeah.
And I really tried to start shit, especially through the 60s and 70s.
Definitely.
When you started to realize the freedom of everybody.
Well, my guy, we were talking about the last episode, my guy kind of does that.
Yeah, you have to really contemplate, that's another way of looking at it. Because it was a male-dominated thing as I was growing up, but now it's like, hey, you got to get used to the other side of it.
Yeah. And the two good examples of that in your catalog are Common Law Wife by Flo, but then there's also the version that you sing on, now you can get it on the Chocolate City outtakes, on the remastered Chocolate City, and you're singing it. She's my common law wife, not I'm a common law wife like Flo sang.
But she's proud of it, yeah.
She's proud of it.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I can think of that's like that is when you guys did Ruth Copeland, you and Tal wrote I Got a Thing for You, Daddy. Uh-huh. But then on that Black Vampire, which I guess some point we're going to have to talk about, they have you singing I Got a Thing for You, Mama.
I got a thing for you,
Mama. It's the backwards version of...
That was the demo of the
original.
Of the original.
But wasn't Common Law Wife?
No. We actually did a song with the group. I got a thing.
It's not the same track?
No, it's not the same song, not the same track or nothing.
It isn't?
No, that's a whole different song. That group is Tony Martell. That's a Golden World record. Pat Lewis and them.
And you didn't redo that?
I got a thing for him. No, we didn't redo that.
Like
we just actually used the theory on Ruth Copeland.
So Ruth Copeland thing is actually kind of a remake.
That was a remake. Yeah, this Johnny somebody.
Well, that's interesting information because I don't think...
It's one of the first things I did at Golden World.
Wow.
Yeah, and Eddie, it's Eddie Hazel playing too.
No.
Eddie and somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the line.
That's
that's in the Ruth Copeland
That's
one.
in the Ruth Copeland.
Yeah.
The other one is kind of like that, but it's more the guitar's not just like that line.
Right.
That one is kind of slow, and Eddie's is is faster. I got to find that as Pat Lewis what that was. I just remember the name is Tony.
Okay.
Tony
it's not
something.
Tony Michaels, not Tony.
Tony Mike.
The one who did Being All Alone with You is all I really want to do. What is that song?
Tony Michaels and
Picture Me and You. Picture Me and
Tony
You.
Mike.
That Tony?
Tony Mike. No.
Oh, okay.
No. He's an Italian kid.
So is this guy, Tony Michaels, Anthony Michaels. Picture Me and You.
Might be it then. I just got to ask Pat Lewis too.
Yeah.
That was
That's interesting. So, okay, part of what this show is about, we go on little rabbit holes. But Take Your Dead Ass Home, classic funkadelic tune, pretty long tune, funky party tune. I remember being a kid, and my sister Elise was in college already, and she let me come stay. My parents let me go stay with her for the weekend, and we went to a house party. And they was playing different things, the new funk that was out, Jamiroquai, and brand new heavies and things like that. And then they played, I asked them if they could play some funkadelic, and they played "Take Your Dead Ass Home," and I remember being like, "Damn, this is a hell of a party record," and I already knew the song well, but. And I remember, for some reason, this sticks with me. I remember somebody there at the party being like, "This isn't funk though. This is soul music. This is real soul music." I was like, "Oh, okay, interesting."
Oh yeah, this was Pedro got off on this particular, Tales of Kid Funkadelic, which was Michael Hampton.
His moniker.
Yeah, thing coming in there with his diaper on.
Yeah, as the new kid, the new kid on the block, the new funketeer, new funkadelic member.
And we, during this period, we were touring with Mandrill, War, and a group from London called Osibisa, however you want to call it, with the big elephant with the wings, and that was the touring. Mandrill and War. And what's the other one for Motown?
Undisputed Truth?
No, the white group.
Rare Earth.
Rare Earth. Oh my God, that was a whole new set of fans at that time.
It was a new kind of funk rock mixed with Northern soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a new thing. But yeah, Take Your Dead Ass Home, classic riff. That's
Eddie Hazel and Billy Bass. I mean, that was originally
they wrote the lines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, any of that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Right.
All of that was, they had learned how to play in unison.
Yeah.
A lot. So they
unison lines.
They made it real strong. Bernie came in and told them about the one, not hitting on the one time-wise, but all of the line being reinforced by everybody playing it.
Right.
That's on the one too.
Exactly.
That's everybody playing the same line, same unison, no, not harmony.
Right.
It get octave spread. It just get bigger and bigger. It's like the Motown sound or the Phil Spector sound.
Yeah.
Everything was doubled and stacked.
It was big, that big, and then the riff really stays with you.
And right, it reinforces the riff when you get that big and wide.
For both the audience and the band.
Yeah.
Because it reinforces something. I remember first joining P-Funk, 22, and having to play those lines over and over again, and how after a while it start meaning something, like, you do, what's the one we were doing really heavy when I first came? Dope, doop, doop, dabba, doo, doop. doom, 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 doom. Now stay there. Just keep doing that. Right? And we would do
You don't even think nothing else, dude.
Yeah.
That's why each time you do it, it gets euphoric.
Thank you. Because I eventually learned that the best show for me is the show when I'm straddling that line between the most control I've ever had in my life over my instrument and my feel, and like you're about to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Somewhere right in between those two spots.
And you do it, but you know you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to think about.
Exactly. The concentration is different.
Yeah.
It's somewhere between total concentration and totally let go.
The weird about that one is James Brown could do it instantly.
Yeah.
He had his people so trained that he could be going beating, and it sounded like he'd been here for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Usually it takes some time for you to get used to it being there.
Moment.
Yeah, for the singing, not him. His is so cut. I don't care what speed it is.
Yeah.
Or what slowed down.
They make tempo changes look easy.
Yeah.
You know, they make tempo changes look easy and natural. They make it look natural.
That's what I'm saying. They don't think about nothing else but the line.
Right.
And look like they pre-think it when they go and first hit it.
Yeah. Now, to me, Funkadelic, and even this song, is like that theory, but under a microscope. Yeah. Zoomed way in on one section, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes an intense study of the inside of that organism.
Yeah.
You know, with a dum doom 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 doom
dang doom bam da 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 da.
You know what I mean? Like that right there.
Oh yeah.
That's the microscope in on the groove. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Bernie could also change it without you knowing that it's changing.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else can do it right on, and his is just swell on tone or timing or something. He can make it interesting, and then he can play Mary Had a Little Lamb in the middle of it without interrupting you.
Well, it's that classical thing. Like a lot of classical pieces, the regular listener doesn't know that it's constantly changing because the theme sounds the same, but the player is forced to play it in different ways that the regular listener isn't noticing are different.
Yeah.
It's really wild. You have to be,
I see it.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a good example in P-Funk is You Hit the Nail on the Head. There's a like there's that. But then there's right?
Yeah. Just because you give the fight,
the average
because you win the fight don't make you right.
Right.
Just because you win don't make you good. Just because you give don't make you good.
Yeah. Now the average listener,
you win the fight don't make you right. Just because you give don't make you good.
The average listener doesn't even hear that as two different things.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the player is able to seamlessly kind of change from one to the other. And that's Bernie and Tyrone that were able to make that shift into the different variations without the listener even knowing it happened.
Yeah. That's a good one, too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
To win the fight don't make you right. Just because you give don't make you good.
But yeah, so... Yeah. But if you're at your girl's house and you're watching the football game, she's trying to get it on. If you ain't going to get it on...
Take your dead ass home.
This has been a bump-by-bump rundown. If you like a lot of this information...
From the wild world of wiggle.
You can check out my book, Authorized P-Funk Song Reference, which I wrote with the help of George and about 160 other band members. Check out George's Patreon, patreon.com/George Clinton P-Funk. Check out this YouTube. Check out all the episodes. They're all really good and really informative. Like, follow, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. You've been bumped. See you next time.